Well, I'll say for doing it, we got lots of news to talk about that I'd like to discuss. Basically, we can do an all newscast. I mean, we can talk about the main topic, but I need to go back and look. I think we've actually have done this topic before.
What is the main topic?
Well,
Yeah,
when do you know when to give up on a game?
Oh, yeah, I'm not interested in talking about that.
Okay, that's fine. Let's just do news then. Let's do news.
But I will say that this was the day that I said Dave wouldn't have finished the game, and he was definitely sure that he would.
That's also really not fair, though. I mean, it's really not fair.
I don't want to get in the middle of this, but I am interested in the reason why.
I mean, my dad was in the hospital for a month. I don't think.
Okay.
I know, Dave. Do you think I care? Like, do you think I care? No, with the game. I'm not talking about anything else.
No.
So yeah, I mean, I guess Joel, when's your heart out? That's a normal term. That's a normal term.
No, I just wasn't. My mind went somewhere else, so I didn't hear the real phrase.
Hard out.
When is your
heart? When do you have to be done for the thing you have coming up after this?
Oh, like tonight. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Do you know what a hard out is?
Yeah. No. Yeah. No, I do.
Oh, he knows.
Sorry. I'm in like the giggle podcast mode. So
okay.
Like,
all right.
Things
I hear things. I giggle.
Yeah. I'd say like 9:15.
Okay. All right. Cool. We're good.
Like
We're good.
Yeah.
Hey Joel, when's your heart out?
Is your heart out? Yes, it is. No, Jonah we were exporting a version of the film without any dialogue and everything, and so he had to like reconstruct old files, get new plugins, and so he has one that's good it's free for 7 days, and then it's like $100. So we were trying to finish it out before that, so because it's actually pretty easy.
This is filmmaking,
pretty neat
folks.
Process, but yeah, I know. But
we got this free plugin. It's free for a few days. We're gonna try to cram it all into that time period.
Well, because he has the old one, but to work on the new Pro Tools or whatever it is now, because he hasn't touched it on the old system and everything. We actually made like a full backup of his Mac, how he edited the movie, like exactly how it was, in case we ever needed it. But it worked great, dude. Like running it on the iMac, Jonah was doing in Pro Tools, he was doing like the system check, whatever. Mm-hmm. It was only running at 51% of using all memory and everything. And he was like amazed because his system was a 64 gig. It was like the trash can one or whatever it is, but he had it fully spec'd or whatever. So he was really amazed. Like, this thing works really well.
How strong would you say that rig was?
Powerful.
It was a fully spec'd out trash can.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds like Joel just had a hard in.
I'm about to have a hard out.
It's because of the hard. So there's another preposition there somewhere, I think.
Yeah, somewhere. I don't know what it is, though.
Yeah.
So, Dave, if you don't want to come over and help me do house projects, which kind of seems like a dick move that you don't want to do that, do you maybe want to go get barbecue this weekend?
Yeah, boy. Oh, and let's do some Thai next week.
Okay.
A Thai lunch.
That works.
I'm feeling some Thai.
Yeah, sounds good.
Do
we just want to do this, or...
Yeah, let's just do it.
Dave, do you want to do this?
Because then we'll have a little bit more time.
We'll have a little more time to do this.
Yeah, let's do this.
I do love doing this. Joel, you are full podcast giggles, aren't you?
I'm hopped up on carbonated mineral water.
And there's the title.
Hopped up on carbonated mineral water. Damn it.
Middle-aged men.
I am hopped up on carbonated mineral water, but I have a heart out.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What's up, you filthy casuals? Welcome to the Casual Shenanigans Gaming Podcast, a podcast all about the irreverent love of gaming. I'm one of your hosts, Jeremiah, joined tonight by, I forgot what name we use for Joel. What nickname do we use for Joel? Do we not have
acclaimed director?
Acclaimed director. He claims to be a director. Joel.
I claim. Here. Wait, what did I in my Joel's? Hearsay. I was trying to say. What am I trying to say?
I have no idea what we're talking about.
Possessor of literally
like,
hundreds of Amazon reviews.
What do they say? What are they, like the town crier? Like, Hear
ye.
Hear ye. Yeah, I was trying to say hear ye. Hearsay.
Which also kind of works.
Your mother's a whore.
What are we talking about? All right. We're also joined by the Ranger.
I true am surviving.
I true am surviving.
Yeah, that's basically it.
So this is apparently a monthly podcast now. That is the cadence to which we are doing this. But thank you, everybody, for coming out. Joel, you'll be happy to know, because you complain every episode that no one's listening to it, that our numbers continue to be about steady. So everyone is keeping this a secret, like you said in the last episode, and they don't want to tell their friends because they don't want to ruin it.
That's good, yeah.
As a reminder, you can write into Casual Shenanigans to be a part of the casualshenanigans@gmail.com. You're going to need the last part to be a part of the show. You can also tweet at Casual Shenanica. You can also go to Dave's Ranger Dave YouTube channel, the only one that is still active, because Dave is an active content creator. Tonight, we are going to mainly just be talking about the news. So do we want to start with what we're playing this week, or do we want to do the news first? Does it matter?
Let's do some playing this week, yeah.
Let's do some playing. Okay. What are we playing this month what are we playing since the last show? That's what this podcast is about.
Yeah.
I need to come up with some riff on, like, welcome to the Casual Shenanigans middle-age cast. But Dave and I have been playing Anno. Not to spoil that for Dave, but it was probably going to come up.
And multiplayer.
Yes, me, Dave, and Chris from the old podcast days, like the first 5 episodes.
Yeah, how is the multiplayer on that?
It's actually a lot of fun. You can have up to 4 people co-oping on the same, like, company. Not just playing, alliance with each other, which you can do. We're playing with the same money, the same stuff. Like, we can all work on each other's stuff.
Oh, wow.
So it's fun, because, like, Chris will be in the New World, like, setting up the rum distribution lines and stuff. Dave will be, like, terraforming an island over here and turning that into steel production, and then I'm like, fighting some pirates, running around the map, chasing some stuff, and building our main industrial sector. Like, you can all be working on totally different things as long as you coordinate how much money you're spending.
Joel, the arguments the first night we played over the budget, because like when you're early on, like you gotta build everything at once, right? Dude, you all share the same money supply, right? So we have 200,000
how is
coin.
this for Dave?
We like all of a sudden
Dave's the problem.
80, yeah,
I know. I could have predicted that.
It would drop all of a sudden by like 100,000 gold or whatever the currency is, and it'd be quiet for a second, and someone would go to buy something like, hey, we're looking kind of broke all of a sudden. What did you guys buy?
Like our income, it's measured, Joel, in like the amount of money you get per minute. It'd be like our income is really high. Like my main thing was working on like our the people we have living on our main island who make you a lot of your tax revenue. So like I'm trying to just make us as much money as possible so the other guys can expand. And I'm like, our income is great. Why are we broke? Literally all the time. And Dave's like, I found this guy on this island. We can buy him for all of the money that we own, and he gives us a 10% bump in productivity. And I'm like, I don't want that guy. And our money has already dropped down.
And I was like, I bought 2 of them.
I'm about to buy one, get one free.
Because that was what I was doing. That was so fun because Chris was doing all the New World stuff, like controlling all the colonies and all the crops and stuff. And Jeremiah was getting our main cities going, and I was running around just optimizing stuff with like some of the special characters and items to get us more money, but you have to spend money to make money. And I was mainly covering the first part of that.
Dave was spending money theoretically to make money, but the nice thing is we don't all have to be there all the time. Like me and Chris played a couple nights, and then Dave hopped in for a couple nights, and then me and Chris played another couple nights when Dave wasn't available. And we like beat all the pirates and took over the main competitor in the game. And like we might be done with that game and we want to start another one on a harder difficulty. Dave, if you're interested, hit me up. Or maybe Dave and I should start our own multiplayer one because Chris doesn't have the DLC, unfortunately.
Oh, and there's some DLC going on right now.
They just released the Skyscraper DLC where you can build skyscrapers, and they actually will earn money based on how good the view is, which is kind of an interesting concept.
And it was cool is from a design perspective, what the devs didn't want to happen was for everyone just to hit upgrade skyscraper on every building, and then you have a city of the same 10 buildings, the exact same height all across the city. So they designed this panorama system where your residents are happier if there's like a variation in height. so like the city looks nicer. So it
Yeah.
encourages players to not just make a giant city of cloned buildings too.
Which is definitely what we normally do for all the other tax revenue. So, yeah, it's pretty good. But that's really all I've been playing on vacation. Oh, man. So my
Does
whole
it
family
run
went on
well
vacation.
laptop?
I'm sorry?
Does it run well on the laptop?
Oh, I wasn't running it on the laptop. I need to install Windows on my MacBook. I haven't done that yet. Like, I need to install
Oh,
a
I
virtual
thought you
machine.
said you were playing it on vacation.
No, I switched. I was starting a new sentence.
Oh, gotcha.
But I just didn't pause in between them. So I went on vacation with my whole family, and so me and my brothers who've been playing Call of Duty Warzone for the last year, we brought our Xboxes with us, figuring we'll play some on vacation. And there's high-speed internet in the Outer Banks at this house. It's like 4 down and like a quarter up, and it's wireless, and 20 people are sharing it. So we brought our Xboxes and did not play that. We did not play any Warzone. And all the TVs. This is a really nice beach house, but I guess they're just tired of replacing things. There's like 8 bedrooms and 8 bathrooms and it's set up for a bunch of people. The TVs are all like 27 inches mounted on the walls. The main TV in the living room, like the great room, is like a 32-inch TV sitting way up on this mantle. So like you can't do a movie night. You can't enjoy it. Like it's terrible. That used to be how all TVs were, which is nuts. But I brought the Xbox with me. I had a couple games downloaded. So I started The Ascent, which just released on Game Pass. It's okay. It's kind of a cool cyberpunk isometric dungeon crawler twin stick shooter. And it's kind of cool. I'm not really feeling it, but it's fun for a couple hours. I also Flight Simulator released on Xbox, and I played some of that. That's really cool because it has the entire world. Like that's the map is Earth. And I was able to put in our local airport, and the normal flight we take from our airport to like the puddle jumper, we go a couple hours south. You know? I was able to fly that route like myself in real time with real time weather. Like it defaults to what time it is there, what weather is actually there.
That's
like,
so cool.
It's pretty cool. But after doing one flight, I was like, all right, I don't know what I'm supposed to do next. Like, I guess I just fly more. Like, it's a beautiful game. It's incredibly beautiful. But also, flying's kind of boring when it's not real and you're up in the air and then you're just sitting there and you're like, all right, well, there's 3 hours till I get to the next, like, to the airport. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do.
I had a friend who was, like, hardcore. His dad was into it. He actually was a pilot. Like, but he was retired, and so he loved playing that. And this was back on, I don't know, Windows 2000 or something like that. No, it might have been even 98. But I think it was just one. Yeah, I didn't have 3 monitors. It was just one monitor back in the day. But he had a whole like joystick and everything else. And because I was asking him that, because like anytime I would come over and we get to play, I would always do Las Vegas or New York City, because then I would fly like X-wings through the buildings, because I was like, that was fun. So I didn't really get the point of like
Jihad simulator.
yeah. No. But I mean, like, it was like, okay, I'm up in the air and we're just going straight. Yeah, it was like accurate 3 hours. I was like, this is boring. But what I asked him one day, I was like, why do you enjoy this? And he says, the fun part in it is when you get the certain missions where certain things go wrong and you have to like that kind of thing. So it's like you have to get someone to this, but then like they'll have to reroute something and you go there and then an engine will go out. Like there'll be like certain things like that kind of make it fun. I mean, the same thing when I think of like the people that play the farming simulators. I'm like, what in the world? So
I feel the same way about people that buy Skyrim every 2 years on a new platform.
Wait, do you know someone? Man,
2
what a
years
crazy
is very
idiot.
generous of you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Dave, what have you been playing?
I mean, Anno mostly. I launched a game besides Anno in August, just barely, I think. Let me check the calendar. Yes, it still counts. On Sunday, I played some Fallout to record that video. That was, I think, the only game I launched besides Anno in the entire month.
Yeah, there's been a lot of life going on this month.
Yeah.
Not a big month for gaming. But Joel, I see you've been playing a game I don't recognize that sounds like either a movie tie-in or a really off-brand something or another.
Oh, you haven't heard about it yet? Mm-mm. Actually, well, the reason I was going to talk about, I was going to mention to especially to you, Jeremiah, I think you would actually love it. So the game Aliens Fireteam just came out like a couple days ago. It is a 3-player co-op like it has 4 campaigns, and each campaign has 3 missions. It's essentially like Left 4 Dead, but it's in aliens, right? It is a blast. Like, it is really cool. Really fun. So they said, like, the campaign's roughly like, to me, I think it's going to be kind of a 1 through. We get through the whole campaign, then we're done. But since me and my brothers are playing it, like, it might take a little bit longer. So I'm guessing we might get 25, 30 hours in it total. But dude, it is legit fun. And I was thinking, like, Jeremiah, you and your brothers, I'm like, you guys would really love it. Because did you ever play those? Remember those early like iPhone games or whatever, like phone games that would be like tower defense, right? You know, you upgrade. Well, it's like that. So imagine, you know, you can be like a medical person. And the thing that I love about it is also it's very simple. It's not like as like busy as like the games now where every little thing's swappable. Like, again, you get the accurate weapons. They reuse the exact sounds from the movie. So like the pulse rifles just sounds awesome and kind of low quality 80s, but it just has it sounds great. But anyways, yeah, you just start the mission 3-person together. You die, you just have to restart back from the same part from the very start of the mission. But they're maybe like 25, 30 minutes total. But as you go through, right, like the aliens just they never stop. Like they'll you got to keep moving and do these little objectives. But it is so much fun once you get to a part where you're like, okay, you know you're going to be holding off a wave. And like, okay, I'm putting my turret here, and it's once you use it, it's done, and it has the counter on it too, like from the movie. So you put the thing down, and Jonah has got one over there. I'm like, okay, and then my character is like a tech person, so I have like a count, like I can use a turret, and then it will like come refresh back into your inventory after a while. But then you have bombs and stuff. But the ammo, like it feels like it'd be like much easier than it is, but it was actually pretty hard. Like, we were just playing it on standard. We definitely died twice for the first mission, but it was a blast. And it's definitely been a game where we're like, okay, I'm ready to play again. And Jonah's like, I want to play, but I'm too tired. So we're gonna play. We're gonna play hopefully later tonight if we can on the second mission. But the turrets and just going, oh shit, they're coming on the walls like around you. And if they pin you down, there's kind of like a little button key, you know, like a kind of like an Uncharted or whatever. You like mash a button to get loose, or someone will shoot anything off. But there's like acid spitters.
Sounds
and
like
we're only on like this. Yeah, and we're only on the second little mission, so just the preview from the trailer, like it goes to like where they find the aliens, like the little chest burster ones and all that kind of stuff, to the alien queen hive or something supposedly. But I'm like, yeah, we honestly, it's really fun. Like, it's one of those where it feels like a game that came out, I don't know, early PS4, but then it's just in 4K and it runs well, and you know, it has, like, the characters running, you can just tell it feels kind of old, like, I don't know, Fallout 4, like, they walk a little wonky, but dude, it is actually legitimately fun. Like, I was, like, really surprised at how fun it is.
Is it crossplay at all? Do you know?
That, I don't think so. No, okay.
So I can't play with you.
I haven't checked, but I don't.
PS5?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Still haven't been able to get one of those.
But I was like, it just reminded me of the Age of Empires, of like setting up the archers and being like, okay, they're coming, like they're getting past our waves. Like, if one character has these rocket things on his shoulders, right? It is just so cool from the movies. So when you tap it, it does the little red beam, like the scan, but has the old 80s scan, and the rockets launch. It just sounds really cool. So
I'll have to check it out.
The guy who did the music is Austin Wintory, who did, he's done a lot of famous games, but he nailed the music. Like, it really feels like the 80s James Horner score. So it's just, yeah, it's good. But
Dave,
definitely worth picking up.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'll check it out. I had not heard of it coming out. Dave.
It's been kind of low key, yeah.
You played some Age of Empires 4, didn't you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, is that a closed beta?
Yeah, under like extreme NDA from what I hear.
Sorry, I forgot.
They're already on the way with black helicopters.
Yeah, they were not kidding around with that.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I did not read the NDA. All right, moving on to the news.
Oh, it comes in, grabs your man.
It's Bill Gates himself. He's like, I came back just for this.
It's now time for the news.
Oh, before the news, I need to say something, Jeremiah.
The pleading.
I am finally not a little bitch. I finished all of Dark Souls 3, every single boss.
Buddy,
and
look at you.
I did it on my own, too. Every mother effing boss. I did all the secret bosses, all the DLC, everything. I finally
Man, I'm gonna have to I gotta go back and refamiliarize myself with them because it's been like 4 years since I did it.
Man,
Yeah,
now that
I'm not
you've
sure.
beat the
I don't know.
Angel,
I don't know if you guys did all of like the random there's one that
We
did you
played
do
all the
there's-
we played all the DLC, and I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure we hit all the extra bosses because we looked them up. It's just been so long, I honestly don't remember.
There's one that Carlson didn't actually do. There's this one that you drop down this like insanely long pit and you fight this like dragon. It's called Mid Eater or something like that. I didn't even know about it at all the first time we even played. But and the reason why I know I completed it finally because I finally got the achievement because because I have all the achievements from when I played on PS4 before, so it crossed over. I was like, I thought I beat the end guy, but I know I didn't do a lot of the DLC stuff. But apparently I didn't do the end guy as well, so I finally did. It was like 4 bosses I missed. So
Nice. So, how do you feel about it in relation to the other Souls games?
I don't know. I enjoyed it. I mean, because I played through all of it with my brothers too. So Jeremiah got through the whole thing. He didn't do all like the side stuff. We did the main stuff, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. I still think my favorite is Dark Souls 1. Demon Souls, honestly, I think is like really high up there. So I think it's Dark Souls, Demon Souls, or Bloodborne, and then Demon Souls, and then the rest of the Dark Souls games.
When I get a PS5, I am planning on going back to Bloodborne.
I wish they would freaking do just an update on that. Like
I want a
perfect
PC
game
release
for it. You know,
I just want a PC
I know.
release. Because they've done other Sony games. Like, I don't know, they keep going that direction. I don't know if I need to get a PS5. Not that I can.
Yeah.
But I sold my PS4 Pro actually since the last podcast. Somebody at work was trying to get something, trying to upgrade his regular PS4 for Destiny. So I sold him my Pro, and I honestly haven't missed it just because I haven't been playing that much. But Joel, it's now time for the news.
News time.
Dave, I think you have the first item.
Yeah, just it's not really a news item, just a current event discussion. Battlefield 2042 is weirdly quiet. They were not at Gamescom at all. They had no live gameplay.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about
E3.
that.
E3 was in late July. Gamescom was in late August. They had 0 showing at either one. And still, the only gameplay we've seen from the game has been scripted gameplay trailer of all the devs playing back in mid-June. The game comes out in 6.5 weeks right now.
This is either a really good thing or a really bad thing, and let's talk about both. So I think the really good side of it could be they've learned from previous Battlefield mistakes where they overshowed and overplayed their hand, and then when they launched the betas and open play sessions and stuff, it was so buggy, people started ripping it apart, and then from launch it just goes straight off a cliff. And then they've had other ones that looked really promising. I think like Battlefield 1, people generally liked in leading up to launch, but people had played so much of it that
because it was so good. Yeah.
Right, the game was just kind of played out by then. I mean, we were all, if I remember right, we were all playing the pre-release stuff for Battlefield 1 and having a great time. So maybe they're like, everyone's super hyped on Portal. Everybody is really excited about this. Maybe we won't screw this up. Let's surprise everybody coming out of the gate. That could be the good side. What do you think the bad side would be?
I mean,
I have a feeling they might maybe delay it. I wonder if they're internally deciding about that. Like, to me, I think it's either delaying or they realize, yeah, we're in a bad place. It's not quite ready. If we show off more, it's going to hurt us. So we might as well just release it, and then people are going to have to buy it to basically find out what the game is like. So it's kind of already past that point, but like I don't know where they're trying to just like mitigate damage, because it's kind of insane. I'm like, I literally have seen no gameplay other than like some leaked clips that are not very good, but a few are like, okay, it kind of looks okay, like it doesn't look too bad.
Well, that's the weird part, Joel, is we have a confirmed closed and then open beta for September. Like that's like written down. It hasn't changed. The website still says it. So we're gonna be playing something before the game launches, before people are paying for it. And it's just very odd that they're not hyping people up for like just trying the game, right, to download it.
Yeah, and that's definitely what I think it is. I absolutely think they're way behind schedule on it. Like, and there's just so many features they talked about that I mean, like all the last of the games. I just think there's no way it's like coming together. I have a hard time believing that.
And the extra year I think that they had spent on the game would make me feel better if we weren't in the middle of COVID still, with everybody still working remote, and like the development scenario, like the year is almost a requirement now, the extra year, versus like we're adding all this cool stuff to the game and getting it really polished. It's more like, no, we need that plus all the crunch to get it out the door now.
I mean, honestly, gosh, I mean, if they look at across their shoulder and go, wow, Cyberpunk, let's delay this game to spring. Just delay it, polish the crap out of it, give yourself time. It doesn't matter when this game comes out.
Battlefield, though.
It sucks because it doesn't matter when the game comes out. It really doesn't matter.
In past years, I would have said that, but honestly, like the typical release schedules for fall and spring and everything, I think COVID has everybody in such a Groundhog Day like scenario. I don't think that matters anymore. People are still playing Warzone and having a great time and tearing apart Call of Duty Vanguard for perceived slights in the trailer. So Battlefield's looking at them going, it's not us this time. But people are still playing and having a great time. I don't think people really care with the way the last year and a half's gone. Not that they don't care if it's delayed, but I don't think...
Of course you get the dip of some parents that just go, hey, I'm buying a random disc for little Billy, like, oh, I think they like a game or something, you know? Like, you might get that, but I think that's so trivial to completely ruining your brand and putting out a game that's not at all ready. I hope they don't.
I think Jeremiah, and yeah, you too, Joel, you're both right, in that I think people care less these days. What hasn't changed, though, is EA's investors. There is no new EA shooter coming out this year besides Battlefield. It's going to launch before Christmas. Yeah. The investors will not have it any other way.
So much money too. I mean, the last couple games. I mean, honestly, they put a crap ton of money in it, and they lost a lot of money.
No, Battlefield 5 was a huge financial success.
Dude, for how much they spend in though, that's the thing is you see the money they're making in. You don't see how much money they're spending to keep that game going.
Battlefield 5 outsold Battlefield 3 and 4. And Hardline by quite a lot. I think it was almost as successful as Battlefield 1.
I think, yeah.
So why didn't they keep going and developing more parts of it then? I guess they had so much money. Oh, no, because
they talked about it. They talked about it. The player retention was awful in Battlefield 5. They sold a ton of copies, and they retained players. I think they said the average was like 22 days or something.
Oh,
like it was less than a month. Like the player retention was awful, which is why they also kept screwing over the people who were playing it by doing these huge balance changes because they were trying to retain players.
Well, and that's why that's one of the reasons I stopped playing. You guys know, I don't care that much about like balance changes in games. Every time people are complaining about the new meta gun in Call of Duty, I'm like, I haven't changed my loadouts in 6 months. I don't care.
I know.
I'm hopping into play with my brothers. Like strategy matters a whole lot more than like the new meta god gun.
Yeah.
But for Battlefield, it did feel like things significantly changed enough that I'd be hopping in and Dave would be patiently explaining because he's always so patient. Like, no, you don't understand. You got to go over. You got to do this thing. It's different now. And I'm like, it's not. I hate to be like a jerk because I don't feel this way towards the developers, but towards EA, the company, it's like, get it at least decent or like don't waste our time. Like, and I'm not saying that trying to be a jerk. I'm not going to go abuse anybody on Twitter. It's just, I don't know. I just don't. Yeah. I don't care. I want it to be good because I want to play with you guys.
There's
and have
so many
fun.
games they're competing with now. You know what I mean? That's the biggest difference. There's so many different games to compete with that I think the honorable, like keeping the honor attached to your game and like the hey, you know, your fan base and stuff like that, and understanding that and not just catering to the new crowd. I think that's going to bring a lot more because I mean, dude, Cyberpunk is gone. It's just disappeared. It's been like Game of Thrones, like gone.
It was bestseller on PlayStation for a couple months.
It's still doing.
Again.
Yeah, it's doing. Joel,
sure.
It was still
like,
a huge financial success.
Dude, but it's gone.
It's not a persistent
gone. Yeah, Game of Thrones
game.
as well. It's gone.
I know,
like
but
they've lost so much.
It's
That's what
not.
I'm saying.
It's not like Game of Thrones. Yeah. It's not a persistent multiplayer game. Like people made those comparisons of, hey, here's how fast players dropped off for Cyberpunk, and other people did comparisons, and like it wasn't really a whole lot faster than The Witcher 3.
But I'm saying, like, of course that game made a lot of money because I mean everyone was so excited for this epic thing that didn't turn out to be that, and that's what I'm saying. Like they lost that, you know what I mean? Like now.
You're right there.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, yeah, it's
Game
like,
of Thrones feeling. Yeah.
I'm saying it felt like, wow, this is gonna be awesome. No, it's not. You know, like whatever. You know. And now it's gone. I'm just saying, like it's dropped off the hemisphere of you can't recapture that same like, hey guys, the game's coming out. You can't recapture that again. You know.
What I hope they don't do is if you've been following what's going on with Halo Infinite, where they announced it's coming out after they already significantly delayed it because of COVID, and everyone was very patient and understanding. I mean, there were toxic idiots on the internet, but I think like overall the community understood like it's the first Halo game in a long time. COVID sucks. This is not, you got to delay the game. But now they've announced, well, we're releasing the game now, and it does look a lot better than the last version they showed. It looks like a modern gen game. Gameplay looks a lot tighter. Apparently people have been playing, there's a beta or something, and people are enjoying it. But they're launching it without Forge and without campaign co-op. and those are like two.
That's Halo.
Campaign co-op for Halo. I'm like, I'm never going to play the Halo campaign unless I'm playing with friends.
I know.
I'm not everybody, but I'm saying like that was the first campaign co-op shooter I ever played. Was one of the Halos.
It's like these developers, they think like, oh, you can just wait for 9 months until we patch it in. I'm like, no, there's going to be other games. Like there's going to be other games, and you're just going to be competing with those, and that's why you can't. That's why I think that was so rough on Cyberpunk is that, like one of my news articles, they said to their investors, yeah, we don't think we're going to get even the Witcher 3 next gen update out by the end of this year.
Yeah. Let's pivot into,
and they were saying fall.
I had one more Battlefield thing.
Man.
Yeah.
So just to get a quick reminder, no new Battlefield gameplay at E3 or Gamescom. It's complete silence. Just leaked clips from the closed NDA'd closed testing. All we've gotten so far is, and again, remember, we have confirmed beta in September sometime. On September 1st, Battlefield account on Twitter tweeted a meme about, September has 30 days. And that's all we've gotten so far. And the response, the community is really tired of DICE making the soon jokes. They're really tired of it.
Right, because that's not funny. Like, that only works if you have a lot of goodwill, and DICE doesn't. I know I complained about this in the last podcast, or maybe 2 podcasts ago. It feels like DICE has been riding the coattails of classic Battlefield, trying to win that community back, longer than classic Battlefield existed. Like, they're desperately trying to reclaim something that existed for like 2, maybe 3 games tops, and it's been longer since those games. Like, I'm not trying to say they're becoming irrelevant because Call of Duty goes through ups and downs. Like, I don't think anyone expected Modern Warfare and Warzone to become the incredible smash that it was, and Call of Duty had a down like 4 years. Battlefield, anything could happen with Battlefield. I don't know.
And we hope for the best, too.
We do hope for the best.
Yeah,
we're critiquing it because we do care, and I want to be very, very clear that, like, we're not upset at the developers. We're not fussing them just to release the game no matter what. Like, that type of behavior is unacceptable. Be better to each other on the internet. This is mostly this is a marketing corporate stooge thing that we're upset about, and that's to the level that we're actually upset. But
but actually it's all the developers scheming together.
The developers are making all the memes themselves.
Yeah, all the top level producers are all like, man, we're trying to do this right, and the developers are screwing us over. We got it all wrong. Dang it.
Developers are playing Halo and making memes all day.
Developers called into morning scrum on their phone, taking a dump on the toilet. I got nothing to show. COVID, you know what I'm saying?
Here, I'll paste this sick meme into the Slack channel.
Joel, you didn't smile that much. Have you called into a scrum from the toilet?
No.
Have you called?
Wow, that was quite a reaction from Joel. That was wow.
Have you called into scrum from bed?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
You caught me on that one time. I was laying in bed.
Oh, that one time. Good.
I had a horrible headache. I had all the lights off because I was like, I had my laptop screen down low. My eyes are hurting so bad.
I just want to be clear to everybody listening to this. Joel has plenty of sick days he could take. I'm just throwing that out there. He was not required to be at work sick.
I wasn't sick. My head was hurting, and I was like, but I could still do the design. It was just like, yeah.
It didn't really hurt your normal quality, so. Hey, man, another 2 or 3 weeks on that one site, it's going to be there.
I hope you have endless meetings on Monday.
What day's a holiday?
Okay.
And you do know that is the worst curse to put on a manager, because I had endless meetings Tuesday, yesterday, and today, and I'm about up to here. And they weren't fun meetings. They were like, call one of my teams and tell them that I'm leaving them meetings. Those aren't a good time. We were having our get to know everybody lunch was yesterday for a team, and it turned into the goodbye lunch for me and another person. Like, it took us so long to get it scheduled that it went from like, we haven't met each other in person to this is our last time seeing you guys.
Farewell.
Hey man, how's it going? I'm quitting. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's amazing.
All right, who had the news article for the CD Projekt Red can't say with full certainty it's next gen Cyberpunk?
I already posted. I was just basically saying, that.
Well, no, I think we should talk about it.
Okay. Well, I mean, so
we should argue about it.
I told Dave I was going to attempt to try it again whenever the PlayStation 5 version comes out. because the version I had was just, I mean, it was so buggy and everything. But so I was like, all right, I was going to wait. And it was going to be like early summer. Or it was actually be spring, right? It was supposed to be spring. And then they delayed it to fall. And now it's not going to be this fall, probably. And then also the Witcher 3 like next gen update where they were doing HDR and like different lighting and I don't know, whatever it is, you know.
Yeah, that one,
that's also, so I'm like, man.
That kind of makes
tough.
me...
No, I was just saying, yeah.
That kind of makes me hopeful that the Witcher next gen update will actually be pretty substantial because normally just like a next gen up-res or something like, you know, higher quality textures, they already have all this stuff on the PC version, you know, for assets. They really just need to upgrade like whatever they want to do for lighting and things. But if they're delaying that, I mean, I guess we are into the last quarter of the year almost here. Or the last third
and
of the year,
I think it's more bummed of, man, they've just had such a rough time lately, and I think it's just they have such a big hill to climb for than their next production.
Now,
you know what I mean? Because like they're spending so much time, like they were trying to bring back Cyberpunk, and they're trying to really patch it, and they'll patch one and it fixes one thing, and then it breaks another element of it, and it's they're kind of having a bit of that Daisy effect where it's like one thing gets good, and hey, it's working better, but then they lost this part, and you know, it's like, oh, that's just rough. One thing after another.
Now, I will say, if you read the patch notes for patch 1.3 that came out for Cyberpunk, I mean, I finished playing it 6 months ago. I wasn't going to go back and play, but I read the patch notes. That's a very impressive patch. Like, the amount of fixes and updates and upgrades and everything. If that patch came out 2 months after release, I think people would have been really happy. It feels kind of weird coming out 10 months after release. Like, people aren't really feeling the first like massive AAA game studio that CD Projekt Red really is these days. They're not feeling that much love out of some of the stuff, and I think that's where some of the frustration comes from. It's not that they can't fix some of these issues. It's like you can't even get together a timeline to tell us what's coming. Like you did plan some of this stuff before launch, right? Like you did know what DLC was gonna be. They had
quite a few people leave the company, you know, over the stuff. So I mean, like who knows? Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's just rough. I don't know. I think that whole launch really like screwed a lot within their company where you know you're gonna have people that like could you imagine me right now being a developer or someone working on the game like just knowing from like Norman, it's like once it's out, and that's why it's like you think like when you put the final piece, it's like there's no redo, you know, there's no like crap, we missed that section of audio, like kinda like we had to re-upload one thing and we pushed really hard to do that, but that was like a one-time, there's no second chances kind of, and not even like a game where you can re-upload and fix a patch. But I can't imagine like it's out, you just lose so much steam. It starts when it starts becoming more relevant, it's like you lose that excitement to want to work on it, to polish it. And then they like, did you guys see when they announced like their DLC or whatever it was, like their first one, it was just kind of lame. It was like,
it was coats really,
it was like, you know,
to be fair, that's what they did for The Witcher 3. Most of their DLCs were just like, hey, here's a free coat, here's a free outfit.
And I totally agree. It was just like maybe
but
now
after this long,
you know, it's kind of like it's like showing up at a funeral and being like, you know, it's like, hey, anyone want to play basketball? Like, guys, like maybe not now. Like that's nice that you want to play basketball with your cousin, but we're at a funeral right now. You know what I mean? It's like not the time. No. I think with their DLC, it was like, maybe save it for like an actual legit cooler thing right after
it does feel like the art department it does feel like the art department probably could have been doing stuff this whole time, like I mean, because there's been plenty of other games that was it DayZ that I've complained about, that the art department won't stop doing things, and they won't like the other developers are behind on fixing the rest of the game, but the art department's just been cranking content because they're like, we work here, what else are we supposed to do? We did our
98
part.
different types of food in the game.
Right, exactly. So it does feel like just on the cosmetic side, like people, they could have been making just cool variations of things for months, and that honestly would have bought them a lot of goodwill. It does feel odd. Like they probably had more goodwill and blank checks in people's minds than almost any other game studio ever has.
Oh yeah, for sure.
To be honest, and I'm not going to say they've 100% ruined it, because you know people will get super hyped for The Witcher 4 because it's another Witcher game.
Yeah, they will.
Right, but man, like they're never going to get back to where they were though. Like it's impossible. You'd have to wait 15 years to get back to that, unless they went real hard to fix the game and do right by everybody right now. And you don't want to be pessimistic, but like they've made the money. I don't honestly know if it makes sense for them to try to fix it other than trying to save their reputation for the next game.
I know. What's tough is the fact that all the stuff they actually planned of actual DLC, like as in like big quests and stuff like that, like side content, you know, like sure it'd be good, but that has to suck because you're not making a game now for a massive crowd. You're making it for a very small crowd now that stuck with the game, that enjoyed it. Like, that's just a fact. Like Witcher 3, everyone loved it. Everyone was so excited to play Hearts of Stone or the other two DLCs or whatever it is. And they were gigantic and they were so freaking cheap. You know, it was like $20 and like I had another 40-hour game. Like, you know, so they gave great content. So yeah, I mean, I think that's just a sucky position to be in. It's like, you want to finish out and have your game, but even like to me, I think the only thing they could do is if, let's say in 2 years, they really polished the hell out of it. They like made the cops, all the people, like all the AI, what people were actually, what they promoted the game as and their trailers of like real world people living life. Like if they did that and came out with like, you know, kind of like what's the director's edition of the Phantom Pain or whatever it is. No, not the, you know what I'm talking about.
Nope.
The Norman Reedus one, the Walking Mountains.
Oh,
Can't
yeah,
think of
yeah.
the name.
I don't know
With
what was in the
base.
director version of that.
Anyways, but I'm like making a version that's like, hey, we're expanding the content. We're adding all these features that people were excited about or wanted to maybe have in the game. I think maybe they could have a shot with that. Like if it came out in 2 years, because they would kind of feel fresh. Because again, so many people didn't play it or they just touched it for about 2 hours and they're done. So those people might pick it back up like me. Like I'm like, maybe I'll give it a shot. But to me, I was just let down because I was like, hey, cool. Cops appear out of nowhere and shoot me. No helicopters flow down to like catch me or nothing. I was totally expecting that. And so when it didn't happen, I was like, oh, well, all right.
Yeah. Up next, Skyrim Anniversary Edition. Joel, I can only assume this is your news story.
Yeah,
I genuinely don't know what this is. I'm legitimately
I actually really thought this was a joke. I really legitimately thought this was a joke. And then I looked up, I was like, wait, they're releasing it. Okay, so what it is if you own Skyrim, like the special edition or whatever,
Let's see what
you'll get a patch that's going to be like 60 FPS, 4K, and a couple little slight updates.
I think I already have
But the
all of
Anniversary Edition? Well, I know, but whatever. For the console, I'm just saying. This is how pathetic it is, right?
Which console versions do I have to own to get that? The PS3?
I think
PS4?
no. Oh yeah,
PS5?
I don't know, maybe. But the Anniversary Edition, dude, it's including stuff from just mods online. Like they picked from the Creation Club, like 500 best little mods or something. I'm like, but a lot of them were ones you could get for free already. Like maybe, and there's a few that have a couple quests, and maybe some are like really good and well made. Okay, but I'm like, really? And then they're adding fishing in the game, like for like.
Didn't the game already?
To
have
me,
fishing?
it's ridiculous. To me, they would have really been awesome if they said, hey, it's the 10-year anniversary. We want to celebrate. Skyrim's been out for 10 years. Everybody has the game. You get upgraded. This is just a free thing for anyone who has Skyrim. Like,
yeah.
Done. And if you just get Skyrim, it's just that. It's not a new $60 game. It's like, $10 or whatever the $15 is to get Skyrim because it's been out forever. And you just have it. Like, that's just more of a free thing as opposed to, no, this is probably going to be a $40 or $59 game for freaking... I just hate the idea of having someone's mod in my game. I just don't like that.
You gonna buy it?
It's not canon. Well, I get it free. Well, I guess I don't get the mods, but no, I'm not going to buy it because I don't want the freaking mods.
Joel, you don't want someone's carefully maintained labor of love mod, but is fishing added 10 years later? Is that canon?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, to me, it's like, it's not... Bethesda didn't do it, and so it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. That's how I am. It's like, it just feels weird, I could never download a mod of someone else's and like play their quest. Like, I appreciate, and I think that's awesome someone did it, but it's just, I don't know. It just feels weird. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm not playing the right thing. It's like, can I read a Star Wars novel? Like, well, here's little Billy's novel that he wrote. And I'm like, no, I want to read the real one. So. I don't know.
That's also where the on PC the community is getting real fed up with this because this is all stuff that you can get for free and can do for free, and not only are they trying to charge
all free? Jeez.
I mean, dude, you've had fishing in Skyrim since the month the game came out. If you're on PC, for free, custom animations, like all that stuff, and then they're charging for it and making it harder and harder to do this kind of stuff in their newer games, like Fallout 76 that. Customized private servers thing finally came out, and you pay for all this stuff, and it's like, But if you just opened it up for modding, I could do all this for free and probably better, and not in 2.5 years of waiting. It's just Bethesda's really dipping hard into the community cash bucket.
I just don't even know why like they haven't done anything with Oblivion or any of the other games to be like, dude, port Fallout 3 to the Switch or whatever. Like release games that people really want to play like now. Like, cool, I'll play a 4K Fallout 3 or something like that. Do something goodwill for the players, as you know, it's probably gonna be another 2 years till their next even space game. And then another 4 years till the next Elder Scrolls. Like, man, it's
Bethesda
dragging.
space game.
I don't even know what it's called.
It's
Star Sky or something.
Starfield? Starspace?
Starfield, that's
Space
it.
Sky?
Starfield, yeah.
Star Space. Space Star.
Sky? Space Sky.
Space Field.
Speaking of which, I read a great article about Star Citizen. Remember Star Citizen? I need to
Is that game still being built?
Oh yeah, definitely. I need to reinstall it because people
gosh.
were describing like you can wake up, and I don't know if I'm getting all these details right, so don't come after me, Chris Roberts Bros. But you can like wake up in your little dingy dystopian apartment on, you know, the spaceport you live in, and you can ride the tram to the spaceport, and you can go check in for your shift and change into your outfit and go to your hangar and get into your ship and take off. And they're like, that's cool the first time, but like, I get that you built all of this stuff, but
What the heck?
it's a $400
Like that's the
million
stuff that's like
train
cool.
to
That's
nowhere.
stuff you're making, you know, that's when it launches and you don't really show that off. That's gonna be
Right.
a cool little feature at the start. But I'm like, no.
Speaking of things actually releasing,
man.
Windows 11 is going to be available on October 5th. Dave, I think you and I are in the same boat. We're doing clean installs this time, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to have a new computer soon.
I can't believe you guys haven't done
Like, I was really
clean
like,
install in such a
should
long
I be
time.
talking about this? I don't know.
It's been since 2014 since I did a clean install.
Dude,
Yeah.
I do kind of miss that. I love a good Windows install. Like clean,
Oh.
fresh. It
Joel,
is.
you're-
There's something fresh because it runs so quick and like setting up your
computer,
programs
Joel,
and getting your icons.
Your
in there.
2014 computer, after I reformatted it, booted so fast. It was
That's
insane.
awesome. I'm glad the SSD is still working good.
Yeah.
I've read a little bit about it. Like, I don't feel like there's a whole lot of gaming changes. I mean, they're talking about like Game Pass for PC. Great, I have that now. Like, I don't really care.
It's a soft relaunch.
Right,
yeah,
they're having a
it's-
new Windows store. I think it's probably good because they're really just evolving Windows, which is what they should be doing this whole time. I don't get the whole start menu in the middle thing. I don't think that's necessary. I think that's copying one of the least necessary parts of OS X or drawing inspiration from it. Like, the start menu has been fine for decades. Like, it's not really something that needs to be overhauled. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
think
it's not
really-
a big deal. I think it makes sense. Like, I think from just usability, like it makes more sense being in the middle as of going all the way down to the left. Like,
Yeah.
I like actually thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, that's interesting. Like, it has always been down left. I'm like, it really doesn't need to be there. Like, it could be in a better position. I mean, obviously you can move it around, but yeah, I mean, it's funny. It does give me huge vibes of Windows Vista, but I think with like a solid Windows 10 feel.
Well, I think it's Windows 10 under the hood.
Right. Yeah, wait, this is Windows 11, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking it was Windows 12. Yeah, but like it reminds me of like Windows XP, but like what was it, the second update they did on it? Man, that was so good.
XP
I love the
2?
second
Oh,
it was like
man.
Service Pack 2 or 3.
Service Pack 2. Oh, man. Service Pack 3 is what really opened it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
Ooh, Jeremiah, I just thought of an interesting challenge. This would be an
Oh.
interesting challenge.
Okay.
You have to install Windows XP. I don't know if we have like an extra computer, but using Windows XP for like a week.
As my main computer?
I mean, obviously it'd be tough with work, but like maybe even over the weekend, like that is your computer to do emails and everything else. You have to use Windows XP.
I mean, I could install a virtual machine. I could
It'd
it
just
in
be
a
interesting
VM.
to see like how, like, because I'm like, I have these
It's not
fond memories
secure.
of how it worked, but I wonder how it would feel now.
Well, you remember how
is-
good it is, but I bet when you try to use it now, it'd be like Windows 7. I bet if you reinstall Windows
Yeah,
7, you'd be like, "Ugh, this is a lot more 2007 than I thought it would be."
yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting
Kind of
challenge.
interesting.
I'll think about it. This is another news item. The Epic Games Store, Apple versus Epic, the big legal case in the state of California. Apple's lawyers. This is one of those ones where you don't have to root for anybody because they all suck. This was one of the stupidest, just petty millions of dollars being thrown around, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars being thrown around.
Yeah.
So Epic's lawyers claimed that their store was comparable to the App Store. Apple's lawyers, seeking to prove that it is not comparable, really went for the jugular. They said, quote, Epic Game Store is unprofitable and not comparable to the App Store, end quote. The lawyers began rather bluntly, and I'm reading a PC Gamer article, quote, and will not be profitable for at least multiple years, if ever, end quote. Epic lost around $180 million on the Epic Game Store in 2019. They projected to lose about $273 million on the Epic Game Store in 2020. Indeed, Epic committed $444 million in minimum guarantees, so like where they give games away and stuff and they do deals with publishers. Minimum guarantees for 2020 alone, while projecting, even with significant growth, only $401 million in revenue for the year. Epic acknowledges that trend will continue into the immediate future. They expect to lose $139 million in 2021. Epic itself has acknowledged that unrecouped costs will amount to at least $330 million, and at best, Epic does not expect the Epic Game Store to have a cumulative gross profit before 2027.
Jeez. That hurts.
Jeez.
That's some lawyer stabbing right there.
Next news item. This one kind of sucks. So, most games that you're buying on PS4 right now come with a free PS5 upgrade, right, Joel? Like, if it's a game that's re-released on both, there's some sort of deal.
I think so. Yeah.
Or you can buy like
I know I just got
Ghost
Ghost of Tsushima, so I had that on PS4 Pro. I beat the game, and I was like, oh, cool, then the director's cut or whatever is coming out, and there's a whole new island, which I really wanted to play. And they're like, oh, okay, to upgrade. But what was confusing is, right, so you could only get, I already owned it on PS4. I needed to buy the gold version, but I could only buy the PS4 version, so I had to do that. But then, once the game is actually launched, like on the actual day it's launched, then you have to buy a $10 thing to upgrade it to the PS5 version. It was like so weird. Like it was not easy. So, but I love the game, so it was kind of worth it for me. But that was definitely annoying. So, but there's been a few games that have just upgraded on its own.
So, Sony is not guaranteeing that if you buy the PS4 version of Horizon Forbidden West, they're not guaranteeing that you'll get a PS5 version. You either have to shell out $80 for the deluxe edition, which bundles PS4 and PS5 editions together, or buy the PS5 version at the full price of, I'm assuming, $70, despite already owning the game on PS4, which is just kind of weird.
I wonder, because I know the game they showed off was just the PS4 Pro. Like they built it so it could be for the PS4 as well, like Pro. So I wonder if they don't have the. I think they show. Maybe they did show off the PS5, but I wonder how much they have the like PS5 version like solid. So I wonder if they're like, they don't want to like give it away just yet because it might take a while until it becomes the like solid PS5 version. I don't know.
It is one thing that makes me feel better about not having a PS5 yet. Is honestly there aren't that many games that are only playable on the PS5 to where like I do want to play Demon's Souls, but like I can wait as long as I need to. That's not a big deal. Like I don't know. I don't feel like
there really is like other than that and like Ratchet and Clank that like looked awesome, like the Returnal game. But yeah, there's like a handful, maybe like 10 total that I would say are like PS5 games, but they're not all. They're all kind of like wildly different.
Yeah. And then there's one last news item that I think, Dave, this might be yours. I'm not sure what it is, so we'll let you talk about it.
Well, you mentioned Star Citizen, so I remembered Forgotten Games, so we got some DayZ news. I randomly saw this week that DayZ has its highest daily player count in like almost 4 years right now.
Why?
It has 12. Between 40 and 50,000 daily players right now. I didn't hear that. What was that?
I said 12.
Well, 12 and a half. It kind of averages. No, it's actually 40 to 50,000 right now.
A day?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's because Namalsk,
I didn't know there were so many of you, Dave.
Well, Namalsk is a big part of it. The snow map that is made by one of the devs, like on his own time, basically. That's hugely popular again. There's a bunch of well-done mods that people are running, and the installer lets you join modded servers with like one click. configures the mods for you and just launches. So modding has actually revived DayZ, and then also on experimental today, this came out of nowhere. They released the update with all of the hazard zones in it on experimental, which is coming out soon to the full game. So they have both static and roving quarantine zones that require protective equipment and have unique loot and unique zombies. It's all the stuff that they promised, 6-7 years ago. It's there all of a sudden, which is unexpected.
Yeah, I saw they had like military or like helicopter drops or something, like crash sites now, whatever, that like
the crash sites have been in for a long time. But
what were they talking about then again or something? Maybe
they added sound effects. So
smoke. Oh, they just finally added sound effects.
You would always just find the wreck. So now you can hear them crash, and you know which way to go.
I do want to just throw out there, I feel like that could have been in a while ago.
Yeah. What has the sound guy been doing?
Right, like I feel like...
I for the record, Dave, I was so right about the sound guy. Dave had so much faith when it was like,
oh yeah,
years.
yeah.
It's like, no, he's working on stuff, and I was like, dude, they could have updated the UI, all the sound, like this.
Like you could buy a sound library, all the money they got on.
I know.
Buy a sound library, throw in a crappy sound, and then make a better one later. Like make it work, then make it good.
What's funny is, Joel, I think the sound guy that I was so excited for only worked there for like 6 months. I don't think he was even the same guy after a while.
See ya.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah,
I love that the
nowhere.
popular thing is Namalsk, like a mod done by one dude.
And it's because it's even more hardcore hilarious.
It's not crossplay, is it? I mean, I already know the answer. No, of course.
It is definitely not crossplay, and the mods aren't available on console, so I'm not sure how well the console.
Joel, they can't even make the server stuff run smoothly, like for people who are playing together. With
I was watching
gameplay
gameplay actually the other day. I don't even know how it appeared on my recommended, but I was like, all right, I haven't seen DayZ in a long time. It's still so laggy. Like it's still laggy. Like you're getting into cars where they like get in and then like they get in again. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
All that being true, I still maintain that the most surreal experience to me at any conference or whatever was seeing DayZ running decently well on a console for the first time. I actually checked I traced the cables. I was like, is there a PC under this table? Because with how garbage that alpha ran when it first launched, I mean, you're getting 8 FPS in cities.
Hey, do you think I'll get a free PS5 upgrade to DayZ?
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah.
I mean, it might be 10 years from now, but you'll get it.
Yeah, it will be still running on the same exact engine.
That was almost as surreal as seeing Kingdom Come running on a console for the first time. Remember that, Joel? That was like, holy crap, it's real. It exists.
Kingdom Come. That will be done. Gosh, I love that game.
Joel
such
just
a good
Kingdom
game.
came.
I had a hard out.
And that's coming up for Joel. So next we'll go into the comment of the week. This is actually not a part of the show where Dave has to provide a comment this week, although if you have one, Dave, you're welcome to. This is a comment from one of the last episodes of the podcast on our YouTube channel. Farkas leaves a comment and says, 2 minutes in, I was already in love, LOL. Too bad I'm not into podcasts. Wishing you guys all the best.
Too bad. How did he find it? What did he
This sounds like something I would really love. Nope.
Should I give it a shot? Not at all.
No, definitely not.
Someone else left a comment saying that they didn't know that we started recording again. And they just looked up the channel for nostalgia's sake, and they saw that there was like a bunch of new episodes, and they got super excited. So that's awesome.
That was great. I guess my only other comment of the week was I got that super strange comment where someone basically implied that because I kill people in Battlefield games that someone's going to show up at my house one day with a gun. It's just like a super like vaguely threatening. He tried to play it off like, I'm just trying to warn you, like, be careful out there. Like he replied a couple times.
It's the my dad works at Microsoft threat. Like,
yeah,
you can get your IP address from people. I'm like, I'm pretty sure the Battlefield developers don't have like right click on player and look up IP. Like, I don't think that's how that works. They're smarter than that.
No, that was Apex for a while. I think it was where you could like find someone's actual IP address for just being in the same lobby. But yeah, I just
good
replied,
thing I was
like,
bad in that game. I never have to worry about that in FPS games. I'm pretty crap.
Me too for Apex, Joel. We're both safe for Apex.
Yeah.
I just replied to that. I was like, man, I would definitely not recommend anybody try that at my house.
Dave, you just made me think of something. I know you're trying to all be uplifting, but this is definitely a downer. But I feel like the day that Dave suddenly just stops playing Battlefield is like the day like he suddenly like, I'm not really good at it anymore. Like all of a sudden like the youths just overtake him and like are really good, and you're like, man, I just don't have this anymore or whatever. Like that all of a sudden we're like, yeah, I'm just not a huge fan of Battlefield. We're like, oh, that's interesting. You're not a huge fan.
And that'll be why. You'll find out. You'll open up my profile and it's like KDR 0.24. You're like, it's happening.
I don't know. I'm still having a great time with Call of Duty, and I am not the hot trigger that I was like 12, 15 years ago.
Dude, that game is it's just so fun. It really enables you to have a lot of fun. Even I think I've only won once the entire time I've played it, and I think I played it for like 60 or something, 70 hours. I think I don't. Yeah, I think I beat it with Edgar. Yeah, once.
Yeah,
or he beat it. I died and he won. That's to be more accurate. But I'm like, yeah, some games have just are able to have a lot of fun without doing it. I think the biggest thing they did that made the game fun was the gulags, like having a chance to come back. Like
because there's so many easy mistakes you can make.
Like I couldn't play another game with that, because like then the Battlefield one, like you couldn't come back. Like that sucked. Yeah. I wish you could at least parachute it out or something, you know.
But don't worry, Joel. In a blog post from June 2019, they're looking into it.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, any day now. But like, I mean, like I didn't think it was that bad. It wasn't that bad of a game. It was okay. It just kind of felt more of like a bland map and Battlefield weapons. But yeah, like I think that feature really saved the game, because you're excited to see your teammates play, and yeah. But I was like, nope, I'm not ready.
One more note to add on that. I actually was incorrect. There was another game that I launched in August besides Anno and that Fallout for the recording. This took us like 2 weeks to get together, but me, Shane, and James all tried Firestorm again. It took so long to get a night where we had like 1 hour all at the same time.
What is Firestorm?
We heard that Firestorm was Battle Royale in Battlefield 5. It's called Firestorm.
Oh, God, because the Aliens game was called Firestorm, so I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
We had heard that the player count was up again because the game was free for a while. And then it was also like on a huge sale. It was like $6 for the game. We got in a lobby with I think 32 people, but it took 10 minutes to matchmake. But what a waste. That game, Firestorm, was so much fun. We had an absolute blast. We got one match with 30 people, one match with like 22 people, and then we kept getting lobbies with like 9 people that would just sit there, and we finally gave up. We were so frustrated. Like, it's gone forever. That was still, it was just so familiar, you know. It was Battlefield.
Dave, I actually just deleted Warzone to make space for Battlefield, because I'm going to attempt to legit play it with you guys.
Oh, so now you can install like 8 copies of Battlefield.
Yeah, I said, Joel, what are you installing it on?
Just my PS5. Like,
is there going to be crossplay?
Yeah,
there is crossplay.
I mean, I don't have a PC, so yeah, but they said crossplay. So I mean, again, we haven't seen it, so it might be one of those. It's going to be patched in 6 months down the road, but I hope not.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, this has been the Casual Shenanigans Gaming Podcast. As always, you can write into casualshenanigans@gmail.com. Sorry, Joel, you have a hard out. Okay.
I was just gonna say, are you gonna play the clip? Are you gonna play the clip from the start here? Or are you playing at the start?
Oh no, it'll be at the start.
Okay.
People are going into that one cold.
Okay. Yeah,
they've hard in
to a hard out.
I'm glad that a bunch of men in their 30s are getting this much mileage out of that joke, but in some ways, that's why you're here, if you've made it this far in the podcast. But you can also, well, I already said you could write in. You can tweet at Casual Shenanigans. Please don't, though. I don't want to check all these
snail mail us.
Leave a comment on the show or something. Like, that'll be easier. But we're available.
Leave a vaguely threatening comment about showing up at our houses with firearms. We love those the best.
We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on the other podcast apps. We're on YouTube. We're everywhere. Please come listen to us. Make Joel happy by telling one friend about the Casual Shenanigans podcast. You'll have to explain how it doesn't happen on a regular basis, and the news is not timely, and we don't play that many games anymore. And
the opinions are not well informed. We don't play games.
Do you not catch up on gaming news and want to hear about it 6 months later? And you know who's listening to this right now? Ben. Ben's listening to this, and I was talking with the other day. He goes, "You know what, guys? I just realized we were having a lunch together, and he was funny. He's like, he's like, yeah, I realize I kind of have a hard time, like, like setting up like a hangout time to like do something with people or with my friends. And he's like, and I realized it's been worse now because you guys had the podcast, and I felt like when I would listen, I was like, oh, I'm just hanging out with my friends, so that I had my social time. I was like, man, what? I was like, but yeah. So he's like, yeah, well, listen. I'm like, it's like I'm hanging out with Joel. I was like, it's not real, man. We hang out together.
There's actually there's a term being developed for that kind of thing now because of
voyeurism.
No, actually, a specific term for people who feel like there's a two-way digital relationship when it is a one-way.
Oh, we're mostly talking about famous women's feet in this, aren't we?
And famous YouTubers that play Minecraft as well. It's called a parasocial relationship, where people have a false sense of a two-way connection, but it is a one-way connection.
I will say, I listen to every episode of this podcast. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why. But
yeah, this is a whole different discussion there.
I do listen to every episode.
I've re-listened to a bunch. Like I might like depend if it's an extra funny one or something like that. I'll usually listen to it.
I was just starting the thing I wanted to say, but that's fine.
You won't be listening to this podcast.
So I listen to every episode, and I honestly think our podcast does feel the most like a bunch of friends just hanging out talking about video games because the stakes are so low. Because we don't have any merch to plug. We don't have, like, we barely have regular segments. Like, we are just, this is the only time we do hang out and talk about video games like this. So I don't know. I can see why people would enjoy that part of it, because I do think our podcast has a little special something to it.
I get that. Yeah,
we got that special sauce.
And if you guys want to go get any special sauce at a barbecue place this weekend, let me know. Not listeners, sorry, that's not for you. That's just for the hosts.
Yeah, there's that parasocial relationship again. Jeremiah's inviting everybody to barbecue.
All right,
because I went to a U2 concert with James forever ago, and some of the like diehard fans up front, because we had actually waited out like for hours, and we got up right in the front, and we saw Bono. I mean, like he was like literally like 20 feet away from us. It was actually pretty cool. But some of the fans next to us, like, they had shirts that said like 1982 or like some of their early concerts and stuff, like actually legit old shirts. It was like both cool but also like creepy, because they would reach out as if they, like, Bono and them were like, they were close friends. Like, I'm sure Bono and some of them. Yeah. And it's interesting. It's like, it's cool, but it's also sad, because it's like, it's not like one, hey, like, sometimes when you're a roadie or people that follow that, you get to know, oh, hey, it's Bill, he's always coming up to our concerts, and you get to know him. But I'm like, their concerts are gigantic, you're not going to get to know everyone, but they were like, it's him, like, hey, I've been here, and I'm like they don't know you, like, I mean, that's awesome, you're a fan, but like, they don't actually know you. And I was like, all right, it was interesting, that was fun. They're like, I want to be Dave, I want to touch that beard.
All right.
Write in the Shenanigans if you've ever had that thought.
All right, and in case you actually want to write in, it's casualshenanigans@gmail.com. Not Joel, write into Shenanigans, which is what she said.
Just scream it into the horizon. We'll hear.
It's all right, guys. We're barely hanging in there. Joel, I think your heart out was 7 minutes ago. So thank you, everybody, for coming out, being part of the show. Till next time. Joel, what should everybody do?
Stay casual.